everyone, myself Megha Pathak from DPS Advani Lamajor, your bio teacher. Children, today we are going to discuss the topic cropping patterns. So what are cropping patterns? They are the models of raising crops which help in obtaining maximum benefit from the same piece of land, and it reduces the risk of crop failure, disease and infestations. And children, there are three common types of cropping patterns. What are these? Mixed cropping, intercropping and crop rotation. So these are three models of cropping patterns. If we follow these models in farming practices, it helps to get maximum benefit.
Children, now let's study about the different cropping patterns in India. First is mixed cropping. So mixed cropping is the practice of growing of two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land. And it is an age-old practice in our country, and Indian farmers used to mix the seeds of two crops and sow in the field. देखिए मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग में दो या उससे ज़्यादा क्रॉप्स को एक ही फील्ड पे उगाया जाता है और ये इंडिया में बहुत पुरानी फार्मिंग प्रैक्टिस है. एंड व्हाट इज़ द एडवांटेज ऑफ मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग? सी इट मिनिमाइज द रिस्क एंड इंश्योर अगेंस्ट द क्रॉप फेलियर ड्यू टू एबनॉर्मल वेदर कंडीशंस. देखिए मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग से क्रॉप फेलियर का रिस्क कम हो जाता है बिकॉज ड्यू टू हार्श वेदर कंडीशंस. सपोज अगर एक क्रॉप की यील्ड अच्छी नहीं हुई है तो दूसरी क्रॉप से लॉस कवर अप हो जाता है. इन इंडिया different combinations of the crops are used by farmers in mixed cropping, like maize plus urad bean, and groundnut plus sunflower, and wheat plus chickpea, wheat plus mustard, cotton plus moong bean, and sorghum plus pigeon pea. These are the different combinations which are used by farmers in mixed cropping. While selection of the crop is made for the mixed cropping, there are some criteria which should be maintained. So first is the different crops to be grown together are so selected that the products and waste material from one crop stimulates the growth of the other crop. For example, if a cereal crop such as wheat is grown along with a leguminous crop such as pulse like gram or rajma, then the uptake of nitrogen from the soil by the cereal is compensated by the addition of nitrogen in the soil by the nitrogen fixing legume. देखिए अगर वीट और किसी लेग्यूमिनस क्रॉप को अगर हम एक साथ बोते हैं तो जो लेग्यूम्स हैं उनकी रूट्स में जो बैक्टीरिया है वो नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन करता है विच इंक्रीजेस द फर्टिलिटी ऑफ द सॉइल. एंड सेकेंड क्राइटेरिया इज द केयर इज टेकन to select crops that do not compete with each other for light, nutrients and water. Like if one crop is of long duration and the other crop is of short duration. If one crop fails due to shortage of moisture or nutrients, the other crop can cover the risk of complete failure. And one more important thing to know, that in mixed cropping, same fertilizers and pesticides are used for all crops, and products of different crops are harvested, threshed, marketed and consumed in mixed form. And the advantage of mixed cropping is the risk of total crop failure due to uncertain monsoon is reduced, and fertility of the soil is improved by growing two crops simultaneously. And in mixed farming there is no definite pattern of sowing. Now next type of cropping pattern is intercropping. Intercropping is growing of two or more crops simultaneously in the same field in definite row pattern. A few rows of one crop alternate with a few rows of a second crop. For example, soya bean plus maize or bajra plus lobia. And the practice of intercropping is adopted by small farmers and where farmers have least access to irrigation. And we can say that intercropping is an improved version of मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग. देखिए मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग में सीड्स को मिक्स करके बोया जाता है, लेकिन इंटरक्रॉपिंग में हर एक क्रॉप की अलग अलग रोज होती है. मीन्स पर्टिकुलर क्रॉप जैसे सोयाबीन है तो उसकी अलग रो होगी और मेज है तो उसकी अलग रो होगी, जिससे हम उसको इजीली हार्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं. एंड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग in intercropping is that the crops that we select, their nutrient requirement should be different. Now you must be thinking that what is the benefit of it? See, if we select different crops means which have different nutrient requirements, this ensures maximum utilization of the nutrients supplied, and also it prevents pest and disease from spreading to all the plants belonging to one crop in a field. अगर एक क्रॉप में कोई डिजीज़ हो भी जाती है तो वो इजीली स्प्रेड नहीं हो पाती है. अगर सेम टाइप की क्रॉप होगी एक फील्ड में तो जो डिजीज़ है, जो बीमारी है, चाहे वो बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन है, फंगल इन्फेक्शन है, वो बहुत तेज़ी से स्प्रेड होगा. लेकिन अगर डिफरेंट रोज़ है, सेपरेट रोज़ है, तो बीमारी इजीली स्प्रेड नहीं होगी. एंड इट हेल्प्स टू गेट गुड यील्ड फ्रॉम बोथ द क्रॉप्स. नाउ नेक्स्ट टाइप ऑफ क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न इज crop rotation. So in crop rotation, the ground is kept under cultivation in such a way that the crops follow in a definite order or cycle. So crop rotation is the practice of growing of different crops on a piece of land in a pre-planned succession. And depending upon the duration, crop rotation is done for different crop combinations. And the choice of crops depends on the moisture conditions, length of rainy season, and type of soil. And if crop rotation is done properly, then 2 or 3 crops can be grown in a year with good harvest. For example, first in rainy season, we can grow paddy or rice, and afterwards we can grow wheat, and after the harvesting wheat, we can grow moong. And if we grow leguminous and non-leguminous crops in the same field, so it replenishes the soil naturally and leads to increase in the crop production, because leguminous crops, they increase nitrogen in the soil, so it reduces the need of fertilizers. And rotation of crops helps in weed control, because weeds are associated with specific crops. When the crop is changed, the weeds associated with the crops usually disappear. And crop rotation, it minimizes the attack by insects and fungi, because different pests are associated with different crops, and by varying the crops, the insects and fungi associated with the crops usually disappear. And with the help of crop rotation, the chemical nature of the soil is not altered, because we do not add fertilizers in the soil. And next advantage of crop rotation is the land is not kept free of cultivation. देखिए, crop rotation की हेल्प से हम 2 और 3 क्रॉप्स एक ही फील्ड से हार्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, which increases the income of farmers.